where you don't get your breakthrough. I'm going to just flow. I'm going to say it again. When you run from God, it puts you, what's up, YouTube? It puts you in a position where you don't receive your blessing. God has been dealing with me about progress, the progress that I made, the progress that I did not make in the year of 2024. And one of the things that he's been showing me about just the progress that both I made and didn't make, that it was me that held myself back. It wasn't life. It wasn't the devil. It wasn't anything else. It was literally my unwillingness to continue to follow God. Does that make sense? I'll say it again. It was literally my unwillingness to follow God. And because I wasn't willing to follow God, right? I didn't even know it, but I was operating in a level of like, how can I say it? Rebellion. And it's like when you think about, what's up, Tisa? When you think about what rebellion does, it puts you in a position where you're gonna always be going through something. And really what it is you're reaping the harvest from sowing a seed of rebellion. What's up, Chastity? What's up, y'all? Hold on. As y'all are coming in, as always, tell God thank you and tell us one thing that you are grateful for. I'm going to say it again. Like today has been a day where God has been dealing with me about both the progress that I did make, but also the progress that I did not make in the year of 2024. And one thing that he told me was that it was me. I was the reason why I made progress, but I was also the reason why I didn't see God do certain things. And you want to know what he told me? He said, you just couldn't buckle down enough to face your fears and follow me in some of these areas. And he said that the harvest of not following him is that we suffer. Whew. If you're on YouTube, be sure that you hit that thumbs up button. I'm going to say it again. He said, the harvest of not following me, the harvest of letting your fears override your faith is that you suffer. Like, I don't know about y'all, but there were some areas of my life in this year that, like, I suffered. If that's you, just say that's me. Like, there were certain areas where it's like I didn't receive God's best. I didn't, like, see movement in certain areas. And God straight up told me, he said, nah, it was you. You didn't want to follow me, and so your life bore the fruit of a person that doesn't follow me. The Lord told me this today. He says it takes discipline not just to face your fears, but it takes discipline to see progress in any area of your life. And he said, where there is a lack of discipline, like his people just will not receive his best. That area will be chaotic. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to take it a step further. Like when we really break down what it means to follow God, like it takes discipline to follow God, because a lot of times following God looks like us doing things that we may not want to do, things that we may be afraid of. It takes discipline to do those things. And the Lord told me, he says, because you didn't exercise discipline, you didn't receive my best. Whew. Because you didn't exercise discipline, there were certain doors that remained shut. Because you didn't exercise discipline and telling your flesh, no, I'm going to follow God. He says there were certain cycles that also replayed itself. Like God has really been dealing with me in this season about not repeat. Honestly, these last few days about not repeating cycles and doing what it takes to not repeat the cycle. He told me, he said it's real easy to sit and talk a good game about breaking cycles. It sounds good until you realize that in order to break a cycle, either you got to face something that you don't want to face, either you got to go through something that you don't want to go through, or either you have to surrender in an area when that has been the last thing that you've been doing. One area that God showed me specifically, he showed me the area of finances for a lot of people, myself included. And he said many people, their finances did not prosper. He says, ooh, that's heavy, Jesus. Oh my God. Can I keep going? He says for some people, money finances did not prosper the way that they could have because of a lack of discipline. He said, for some people, he's showing me seeds. He says some people scattered their seeds on unfertile soil. Some people scattered their seeds in concrete. And he said there was a very small amount in the year of 2024 that literally sowed their seeds in good ground. And he's not talking about, sowing into ministries. He's talking about your level of stewardship when it came down to money. And he said where a lot of people failed the test is that they were unwilling to take the risk. Faith is the biggest risk that we will ever have to take. He says, so when many people were presented the opportunity to step out and trust God, right? And to take a risk, many people said, I can't do that, God. That's too risky. But what they don't realize is that the moment that they separated from doing that is they literally capped themselves off. And now God is not saying, that people struggle. Some people did, but not everyone. But what he is saying is, many of us didn't tap into the level of like prosperity, the level of seeing his best that we could have. For some people, it was your health. If that's you, say that's me, T. For some people, it was your health. Like you entered into this year and you said, God, you said, Lord, I'm gonna take care of my health. I'm gonna put my health first. And he said, many people, and this is not me calling anybody out. It's just God saying many people in general, we at the end of the year, and you are either in the same position or worse. Where there's discipline, there will be success. And the Lord told me this. He says, discipline at first hurts your feelings until you begin to see the benefits of what discipline produces. Ooh. I'm going to say it again. He said, discipline produces success. Where there is discipline, there is God's best. Where there is discipline, there's a different kind of blessing, a different kind of favor. He says, at first, discipline hurts. It seems impossible, but come on, but those feelings of it hurting or being uncomfortable, it goes away when you begin to see what discipline produces. He reminded me of like when I first started working out, like the very, very beginning. I grew up an overweight kid. And what he was telling me is that like when I first started to work out, it was extremely hard. Like it was so hard that I thought about quitting. A lot of times following God is hard and it makes you think about quitting. I remember when I first started to tithe. Don't get me started on that. When I first started to like tithe, like it hurt. It felt like, what is the point on top of the warfare? But what I didn't realize is that in the beginning phases of discipline, even the enemy knows that it is uncomfortable. Even the devil knows that following God in the beginning, it is scary. So a lot of times when it boils down to breaking certain cycles or stepping out of certain generational strongholds, the moment you say yes, God, the devil begins to attack you, and the purpose of the attack is to intimidate you to stop. He says many people fell subject to that attack. Many people, you started things in 2024, and the moment that the devil attacked, you put it down. And because you put it down, you did not see God's best, and you find yourself still sitting in the place of unanswered prayer. Woo! He was whipping on me today too. He said, you're sitting in a place of unanswered prayer because of this. You started, the devil attacked you, and you quit. And because you quit, because you threw in the towel, because you did not choose me. By default, if you don't choose God, you separate from him. So what happened is God told me, he said, so you suffered. You suffered in certain areas because you kept quitting. You kept letting the warfare, you kept letting the warfare bag you down. But he was reminding me, and when I first started like working out, it was very hard. I was extremely sore. But then when I started to like see results, when I started to see like, man, my clothes getting too big, and I started to see like positive results, it produced, it's like a switch flipped off. And it's like when the switch went on, it was kind of like, I gotta keep doing this because it's working. The Lord said many people, the devil punked us before the switch went off. Discipline always brings you to a place where it's like the lights come on and you like, whoa, this was hard, but it was beneficial. This was hard, but it blessed me. This, if you got it, say I got it, T. Boy, I ain't know y'all can like on YouTube. Come on, like me up. What's up, Kimberly? Come on, hand hearts on favorited. I hate that we can't tap the screen on here on, but YouTube can tap the screen. They tapping over here. They listen. They giving me one. They tapping over here. Okay. God told me that. He said, following me works the same way. He says, but many people, you stopped following me before you saw what your obedience and what your discipline produce. You stopped before you got the miracle. And before you, come on, and because you stopped before you got the miracle, many people found themselves in a cycle where motivation was at an all-time low, where it was just like the desire to follow God in certain areas and in certain ways, it just was not there. Whew. Like this was God talking to me today about that. And I'm looking at my life, I'm looking at certain areas, and I'm like, what? So in the middle of me, like looking and reflecting at all these areas, you know what God told me? He said, be disciplined this time around. Do the hard things. Do it until you see what it produces. Whew. He said, you want the blessing? You want a different outcome? Get serious about doing the hard stuff. The hard stuff for you may look like you saving a certain amount every single month. The hard stuff for you may actually be you getting serious about that business. The hard, the hard stuff for you, come on, somebody. It may look like you tithing this year. It may look like different things. It may look like you saying, God, I'm going to the gym. I ain't eating bad. I ain't eating crazy. I ain't drinking. I ain't doing nothing that's going to keep me away. Come on, somebody. And what God told me, he says, for some of us, we saw a little bit of success in 2024, which means we saw a little bit of movement. We saw a little bit of positive action in certain areas. The Lord told me, he says, yeah, you saw some positive action. You saw some movement, like meaning you were advancing a little bit. He says, just imagine what you can do with a little bit of discipline behind it this time. Just imagine what you can receive with a little bit of consistency. And he said, don't attach your discipline to your responsibilities. Attach your discipline to your level of obedience, your level of following him. I forgot I had coffee. He said, no, don't attach your discipline to what you got to do every day, your responsibilities. Attach your discipline to your obedience, because your obedience is the thing that produces the results. Your obedience is the thing that come on that gives birth to favor. Your obedience is the thing that come on. And really what he's saying is, by attaching your discipline to your obedience, you're attaching I'm gonna say it this way, you're giving him a solidified yes, and you're backing it up with your actions. No more running. Somebody type that in. YouTube, type it in. No more running. No more running. Say it louder. No more running. No more running from the things that you're afraid of. No more running from the things that are hard. No more running from the devil. I'm going to say that again. No more running from the devil. Some of us got into the habit of running from the devil, running from warfare. Come on. Running from having to fend off the devil. The Lord says, tell them again, no more running. No more running from discomfort. Whew. To run is to separate from God. You separate from God, you suffer. Whatever area you run, or whatever area you're running from God, that area you will suffer. The devil won't just viciously attack that area, but you will not see what God is going to do in your life. You said, well, no more running from the fear of the unknown. Ooh. You want the blessing? No more running. You want to see movement? No more running. Do the hard stuff. Do the scary stuff this year. And I'm going to say this, it doesn't start in 2025. It starts right now. It doesn't start in 2025, YouTube. It starts right now. I'll say it again. It starts tonight. And I'm going to say this. God told me, he said, this year, because you are so busy running, you sat in a place of confusion. Meaning I sat in a place where I'm like, God, I overthought everything. And he said, because you overthought everything, you misinterpreted every single thing that I was telling you to do. Because in your heart, you were bent on running. He said you were so bent on running that you overthought everything that I said, which meant that you didn't move on anything. He said the devil maximized off of that. My God, today. He says the devil maximized off of that. Today I was working out and God told me this. He says it's not complicated following me. Following me is not complicated. Pursuing that vision is not complicated. It's simple. Your fears are what make it complicated. Ooh. Ooh. Y'all ain't got to talk back to me. God said that. He said, following me is not complicated. Your fears made my instructions complicated. Your fears, and I'm going to say this, where there is fears, there is a desire to not follow God in a certain way. If you got a fear relationally, guess what? You really don't want to follow God relationally. If you got a fear financially, that means that you're going to struggle following God in that. He said, just do what I said. You ain't got to assume. Just do what I said verbatim. What do you need to do? Hey, what do you need to do? How can you show up better? How can you be more disciplined? How can you be more disciplined with the things that you're believing God for? How have you been running? And I'm going to say this, because a lot of people are like, how do you start running? You start running by following God, facing the thing that you're running from. God told me I had been running from trauma. And a lot of times we run because of trauma. He said you had a horrific experience with bodybuilding and it made you start running in this area. He says you running produced a lack of discipline. And because you were lacking in the discipline department, there were certain things that you just couldn't see me do. Wait. Can I say that again? If y'all have not started, listen, go ahead and hit that like button, YouTube. He said you were running from trauma. You had a horrible experience. You didn't want to go through that again, so you started to run. Come on. He said you started running from that, running from the worst case scenario, and because you were so busy running, you fell into just not having the discipline to see results in that area. And because you didn't, come on, because you did not have the discipline, you did not see the blessing. Oh my God. He said, because you, come on. He says, because you didn't have the discipline, you didn't get the blessing. Because you didn't have the discipline, the cycle repeated itself. Because you told me, he says, now that you know what the issue was, show up differently. Buckle down and do what you need to do. I believe 2025 is a year of movement unlike any other. I believe 2025 is a year of movement unlike any other. By the way, I will be releasing the word for 2025 tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on TikTok. Tomorrow I will be releasing that word at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on TikTok. Show up. Show up so 2025 is not a repeat. Show up so that it is not a repeat. Tonight, some of y'all, you may be tempted to go to sleep, but I implore you to sit and assess your life. Take inventory of your life. Take inventory of the areas where you did not see move. God is not a stagnant God. Take inventory of the areas where you didn't see as much movement. And the Lord says, really hold the mirror up to yourself tonight and ask yourself, God, was I disciplined enough to see results? Self-reflection, you said it. Was I disciplined enough? This is how we grow. This is how we learn. This is how we get, come on, grow wiser. I'm going to say it again. Holding the mirror up to yourself. Like this is how we learn from our mistakes. That's it. So I encourage you, sit and think about your life. And I don't want you to just sit and think about it. Tonight, I want to challenge every single person that's watching me on YouTube and on Favorited. I want to challenge you guys to like really ask yourself, what will it really take for me to see progress in this area? If it's financial progress, how are you not disciplined to God in that area? How are you not exercising wisdom in that area? and do the opposite. Do the opposite. That's it. Somebody type that in. Do the opposite. Don't keep doing the same thing that you've been doing. If it was working, it would have worked by now. Do the opposite. You too, type it in. Do the opposite. Tonight is blessed, y'all. Tell God thank you. Come on, my people in here. This is even a deeper dive on writing the vision, making it plain. Who do you have to become to get the blessing? What do you have to do to get the blessing? God told me, he says, baby, you got more to give. You didn't give me your best. You are running, calling it your best. Who? That's for somebody else. He told me, he says, you were running, calling it your best. Like you dipping and dodging, saying, God, I'm giving it my best, but you're running from doing the hard stuff. You're running from facing certain scenarios. Ooh. That's it. That's it. No more running. No more running. YouTube, no more running. If this was your word, tell God thank you. If this was your word, tell God thank you. Ooh. To those of y'all that feel led to sow, just go sow. 2025. That's the seed number tonight. 2025. $20.25. That's the number that I hear. That's it. That's it. I'm going to type in where people can sow on YouTube. Bear with me. Chime is $ thoughts by T. God is so good. Cash App. Oh Lord. That's it. That's it. 2025. I pray that this has blessed y'all like it did me. I told God, I said, Lord, it just feels like like you are snatching all of my little edges. That's it. Tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on TikTok, New Year's Eve, we will be releasing the word for. Listen, I don't have an edge left either. We will be releasing the word of the Lord for the year of 2025. That is what we will be doing. That's it. Again, if tonight has blessed you, can you tell God thank you? Favorite it. My people over here. If y'all want to catch the replay of this word, all you got to do is go to YouTube. The name is Thoughts by T, and you guys can catch the YouTube of or the replay of tonight's word. Again, YouTube, if y'all are not following me on TikTok, following me on Favorite it. Thoughts by T is the name. Um, I'm trying to be a great steward. I told God expanding had been something that I had been running from because I was so afraid of toiling and I had such a horrific experience the last time I had to shift over into something new. And I told God, I'm not going to run. I'm going to expand the way that He's telling me to expand. And the people that come are the people that, guess what? They are the people that come. No more running. Get your blessings. This year can be different. This year can be different. I'm going to say it again. This year can be different. That's it. Mayani, do we have a number? People are requesting the mess out of me. I don't want to go live. I don't want to do that. I don't know them folks. Oh, listen, like 15 people then requested me. There are at least 3 people that need to sow that $20.25 seed on tonight. I don't know them folks. Harpo, who this? It's listen, Harpo, who this? I ain't lying. I know they trying to battle, but baby, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to battle like that. We got 2 more people that need to sow. I don't want to do that. All right, YouTube, I'm finna let y'all go. Thank y'all.